thing with the weather. So now we're over with the hard winter, and now we're just starting to uplift our spirits, and maybe everybody's gonna dress up and do more things outside. So that's been a huge relief. So happy March 1st, everyone, and happy Sunday as well. So here I am today. I know usually our Ellie and Imo talk shows are Sundays, but we had a lot of politic things going on. So we hope that you'll be able to engage and tune in or even call in and say what you have to say, because the topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about, like directly to you, is it's a very important topic. It's very delicate. It's a vulnerable topic, but it is something that should be talked about. It should be recognized, and it's going to be about protecting children in the industry. And a lot of people are, they're not aware of exactly how the industry works and why it is very important to protect your children in the industry. So that's the topic I wanted to open up to you guys today. And if you want to engage, please feel free to engage. Call in the number that you'll see on the screen here below, and give an advice or an opinion of something you like to say, mostly an advice, especially for a lot of the parents out there who have very talented children, who are very gifted, and they're starting so young and still need their parents' guidance. So even the parents too needs the knowledge on how to direct their kids in the industry. But before we get deep into that, so first I'd like to make a quick couple of announcements. A lot of excitements are coming up, a lot of things are happening. And number one thing I like to say, you guys probably already know, me as a designer of Newbie Collections, Newbie Ultimate Runway is a month away from now, April 11. So we contributed this March 1st throughout until the show as a promotional month. So we're gonna be bugging you guys a lot about the show and the images and these beautiful garments and these models, because we don't want you to miss it. Like, I can't stress that enough. And the outcome that I see mostly behind it is that this is something greater than myself. This is something greater than anything I could imagine, And I'm so blessed and proud and honored to be able to present this gift to the world. As you guys can see, Newbie is short for Nubia. So my whole concept behind it is telling the stories and the history of Nubia, people of color, Ethiopia, all of those concept of what made Africa so great, and the richest resources countries in the world. And Nubia is actually a trademark at the time that connects all Africa, Asia, Arabia, Europe. And it was the most powerful trade, where Africa had all these rich resources like gold, mineral, soil. Africa has everything. So they were contributing to the other countries through the Mediterranean Sea, through the Red Sea at the time, and all of that was called Nubia. So it gives me goosebumps, and it really gets me going to know that we have such a really dynamic, rich history, and it's like, it's me to present it out there to you guys, and I don't want you to miss this show. I really want you to be there and witness this moment. This is our second year, and we have really come a long way. And we also had people who are very supportive and very involved. So we have a huge, wonderful production going. And also, you'll get to see the collections. There's going to be three themes. One is Gaza, one is Jewel of Africa. So you'll kind of see the story of how it represents different empires that mainly highlight the people of color at the time. So, which Nubia is a little bit more of the East, and Jewel of Africa is in Africa as a whole, where you see Ankara all the time. That is trending. So that's my announcement. April 11 at 5 Event Center. Door opens at 7 o'clock. be there at the show and enjoy it. I promise you, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna love it. And we're opening a whole new door of the African culture, the African atmosphere with the New York Fashion Week style kind of a runway to all audience, especially, you know, the Ethiopians and the Somalian community that lives here in Minneapolis. There's a huge pride of them. So we definitely want you to come out and experience the industry world. And I believe this will also give you a better understanding of what your children are doing in the industry as well, and how you can be involved in their life. So a couple of pictures here that you see. This is Jason Christopher Peters. So he had attended a show in New York Fashion Week. Now, New York Fashion Week went by the second week of February, from February 4th to the 14th, I believe. And he requested to wear one of our newbie collections, which is a phenomenal opportunity for newbie collections. So this is a 4-set suit that he got to wear there, and it's all made of Ankara, different solid blending colors. And we wanted to add this color into the fashion industry, the society we live in today here in America. I mean, most commonly it's a black tie, black suit, and based on what he said, and I was really happy with his quote, that it was almost like he's the only one wearing color while everyone was wearing black tie, and that really stood out very well. And I mean, look at him, he looked amazing in it. And this is Naima Moore from Cycle for America Next Top Model. So as you can tell, this is a really big show, part of the New York Fashion Week, where these celebrities, they come and watch the designs and possibly order their next design for their next music video or their next gala or their next Grammy or any places like that. So we're so proud and thankful to have Jason C. Peterson represent Newbie Collections and New York Fashion Week at one of the biggest show by Andy Hilfiger, which is a brother of Tommy Hilfiger. They're related somewhere there. I don't know if they're actually brothers or cousins, but yes, Andy Hilfiger. And Andy Hilfiger work with Artistics. So Artistics, they create kind of a sport line. One of the picture with Jason Peter, that was PJ Splash. He's also a very big model there in New York, and the line he was wearing is by Artistics. So you'll kind of have an idea. So if you're into sport, that's what they do. So again, we're very thankful for Jason Peterson. So I wanted to give this shout out to him today. And this picture here of Fatu, she looks stunning, absolutely amazing. And we created this dress specifically for her cause, Let's Fight Indo. So what Newbie Ultimate Runway is doing this year, we are giving our 10% to this cause so that the women in Africa who are suffering with endometriosis can have the support they need to be able to cover their medical bills or get their pain medication. So there's a lot of stories behind this image alone, and it was amazingly shot by a photographer here in Minneapolis by David Keon. So he did a great job capturing this image, but I'm also very proud of Fatu with her strong poses, edgy look, just bringing that dress to life, and I don't think anyone else could actually do it. It was just meant for her. So, and Fatu herself is actually the creator of this cause as well. So we're really proud of her, and you know, this is one of the announcements we like to make for you. So going forward, so yes, those are the couple announcements related to the fashion industry. And now going towards throughout the show, few little things I like to announce as well that are something to watch for, something to be careful for. We had a lot of trafficking going on in Africa, especially in Kenya right now. So WhatsApp is a big communication internationally and around the world, and it's very common a lot to use in East Africa. So there was a CEO who is doing the trafficking on a down low, underground, secretly, using WhatsApp to reach out to some of the girls in Kenya, and actually, tricking them to think that they're gonna have a better job, they're gonna get paid more money, or if they're a musician, they're gonna become a singer or they're gonna become a dancer. And once they get to Delhi, India, which is where these girls are getting sent to, they run into their most terrifying, horrific lifetime moment, where they get stuck and their passports are held and they can't go anywhere until they have fulfilled their duty. And a lot of these costs behind it, so this is a guy who's using a cover-up. He's using a charity event to make himself look good in public, but on a down low, he's trafficking these young women in Kenya and actually sending them to Delhi, India. So, watch out for these kind of fraud. And this news was covered by BBC News Africa. And they went under investigation to help these girls, because it went viral. It went so far enough where it was just a numerous of women that end up there. So to give you a little inside story about that, so be careful with WhatsApp, be careful with social media, be careful with who you're talking to. You can't just talk to anyone. Someone could come in and pretend that they are an artist and they have something to offer to you because you have a gift. Do not let that manipulate you, because what ends up happening to these women that are being trafficked to India is that they get stuck and become sex slaves. And that's very common in the industry alone. That's like the highest thing. One of the number one selling thing in the industry is pornography. It is selling high in the industry. It is selling in the Hollywood, and all of these other big stars and, these kind of lifestyle. And it's not everybody that is bad in the industry. You just got to watch out for those that are con artists, the scammers, because a lot of those people, they work separately from the industry. They're usually behind the screen and pretending to be someone else. And they use possibly a big name like Walt Disney, or they use a big names like what would you name some of the characters? Like Mickey Mouse, that leads children towards them, or even bigger musicians, and let me think of a really good example. Like some of the rappers, they'll use their names. They'll use anyone in the industry, anyone that is famous, anyone that is well known. These con artists will take up their name and pretend to be them so that they can go ahead and do trafficking on a down low for their own personal use. Miserable life, right? So now you see a picture of Mickey Mouse here and Snow White. So I'm gonna jump into this next topic of it. This is about protecting children in the industry. So lately we had a New York Post about Disney World. So family, if you're taking a family trip to the Disney World, keep your eyes on your children at all time whatsoever. Do not let them get out of your sight, because there are a lot of con artists who are dressing up to be Snow White, who are dressing up to be Mickey Mouse, who are dressing up to be a child's favorite character, and every children loves every Disney's movies. And so then they pretend to be that character to draw the children to them. And next thing you know is they disappear. So that's been going on since 2006, and they have been doing an investigation. And also in the New York Post, they did talk about who were some of these people behind these scams, these pedophiles, these criminals who are using children for their sex things. So, and some of them are under prosecution right now. So there's about 36 of them that has been arrested since 2006 until now, continuing. And there has been 75 bursts of child porn pornography and also sell for sex. So this is a CNN news report. So we wanted to, give a lot of those parents, those warnings. These things are real. They're happening in the industry. Prosecution is still taking place, so which is good, but they're still going to be out there. There's still going to be future con artists and future pedophiles and things like that are using big names in the industry. So these people, they walk around like normal people. Okay, if you plan a family trip and you go to the Disney World and you want to take your children and have a great time, they will find a costume and manipulate the main character pretending to be them. So whenever your child is approaching their favorite character, be present with them at all time. And that's what a lot of these scam and con artists do, which is really sad, but that's really how the industry works. So, and first thing, I will go ahead and start with pretty much what the industry really is. So, the industry is all together of everything that is considered entertainment. You have music, you have fashion, you have dance, you have films, movies, you have photographers, you have commercials. All of those work in the same industry. They work together to create whatever they're creating, whether it's a movie or a fashion show or anything like that. So that's the industry. There's a lot of gifted people in the industry that makes these happen. But it's the people behind the blindfold that are coming out as con artists and scammers, and those are the people to watch out for. So, for example, if you were to take your child to a casting call, so there's a lot of casting calls. A lot of these start with casting calls before they actually get the bookings of the clients that they want. Usually for movies and runway shows and fashion shoots, there's a lot of casting calls in those. And, know exactly who is doing the casting call. Check all of their links, check their social media, and whenever they send out an email, there should be a company logo listed on there. There should be an email, there should be a phone number. All of those should be there. That shows that they are a legit company. Also Google them as well. You want to use all those information to do your research and Google. Find out who they are if they really exist. And you'll see reviews too if they are in the scam list or if they are a legit company. So that's the first check. The second check is once you have confirmed that they are a legit company, then you take your child with you. Any child under the age of 18, even above 18 for all the adults, even the girls and the young boys, have a friend with you. Have someone with you at all times. If they tell you, oh, we want you to come alone, do not fall for that, because they will throw things at you like that. So in the casting call, go with your child. Now, if it's an acting scene or a film scene, usually some of these acting screens, they'll put you in a booth or they'll put your child in a booth, and there should be a window where the parent can watch and be able to see their child at all time. Now, if there is no window and it's a separate room with a closed door, one of the parents must be in there. If the producers are not willing to let you be in there, then you have the right to walk away. You don't want to risk your child's life because you don't know what happens there. And usually some of those, monologues or script that they use to do their casting, they don't last more than 2 minutes at all. They don't last more than 2 minutes. That's usually the first casting call. So you want to be there at all time. If it's a booth with a window where you can see them, that is fine. But if it's a closed door where you can't even see what is happening to your child in there, You have every right to go in and be with your child. Do not let them be alone with a producer or with anyone that you do not know, period. And if they do not accept you to be in there with your child, walk away. It's not worth it. So that's the next step with it. Same thing with model casting. When you take your child to a runway casting, for the producers to see them as well, you as a parent will be standing on the other end while your child does their catwalk or they try on the outfits. Be present with them at all time. That's the second step to after First, you invest the company, make sure they're legit. You go to the casting call. Be present with your child at all time. Now, children's or people who are 18 and older, I mean, of course, by then you're pretty much on your own, so you have the right of who is with you and who is not with you. So if you do walk into a booth with a producer where you get to do your cast or you get to say your script, follow your instincts because your instincts never lie. Okay. Once you're in there and you're doing your script and then, some awkward situation happen or the producer is doing something that doesn't feel right, leave. It is not worth it. Do not settle for it. A lot of times they're going to give you tricks like, oh my God, you're so wonderful. You're so amazing. I want to stay in touch with you and I want to take you far. And if you do this for us, we will make you famous. They'll use things like that. We'll make you famous. We'll make you the biggest musician or the biggest record breaker. So listen to those things that just seem so good to be true. Now, producers that usually respect their job and knows what they're doing, they're not going to tell you the outcome. They're not going to say, oh, you're perfect. Guess what? You're going to be a world famous musician, you're gonna be a world famous dancer and all of that stuff, They'll usually just go step by step. They're gonna have you do your script. Soon as you're done, you walk out the door and you just wait for results, whether it's by email or by phone call and letting you know that, hey, your child is accepted or you have been accepted and we would like to see you again. Now that's pretty legit. The ones that are not legit are the ones that gives you possibly false promises, is what I would say, false promises. So watch out for those people. That's how you differentiate who is legit and who is a con artist or a scammer. So then the third step is once you get accepted into the industry, to do whatever role you are casted for, whether it's for a film or for dancing or for a runway or for a high fashion campaign or catalog, then the next step to that is usually everything will be on point. You got to be on time. You got to go to your set. They're going to start, putting you together, doing all of this and get to work. And once the job is done, well done, and everybody goes their way. So, and whatever their rules and regulations are, like, oh, you'll get your images in a month or in 2 weeks, or you'll be able to see the billboard, and here's the link. A lot of times, if you're getting paid for it, you don't get to see any of those things. But if it's a trade work, a lot of times they'll give them to you so you could use them to build your portfolio. Where you kind of run into the pedophiles is with the fashion industry. So when you're doing a photo shoot and you got accepted for that, whether it's a catalog or, it's a high fashion photo shoot. Okay. And, well, we have a phone call, so I'm going to continue with this topic, talking about what the scam artists do once you're accepted. So let's hear from this caller.
Yes, thank you. I was listening to your show, and you mentioned human trafficking from Kenya to India.
Yeah.
The first question is the government from Kenya, aware of this, situation?
Mm-hmm.
And if yes, what have they done up now? because this is a big problem. This is the first question. And the second question is, talking about the children. If you take your kid, to Disney World, you have a responsibility to take care of this kid. If something happens, it's not, going to accuse somebody else. It's going to be your fault because the children did not ask to be born. You make your decision to born them. You have the responsibility to check on them and protect them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So answering your first question about the women trafficking in Kenya, as far as the government in Kenya, I'm not sure what they have done to prevent that. So my whole announcement to that is to give awareness to the women in Kenya to let them know that these are some of the things you need to watch out for to protect themselves. Because I also do believe that, the government doesn't really do much. They don't do a lot of tracking to protect their people because it's been a large number of women that have been taken to India. And I don't know how much awareness is out there about this case because a lot of them are happening in silence and many are not really talking about it. But these women, they fall into the social media and talking to people, and a lot of time, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. So I just kind of wanted to give them that open door that, don't just accept whatever is thrown in front of you.
Yes, I understood. But if this case has been, around long time ago, for me, the government must know it can be a business, and the government doesn't want to be involved. This is a business. It can be a business, and if it's a business, there's no way they can, talk about it. They just shut them out and keep going, because trafficking is some people from Kenya to India. And most of children in Kenya, India are being trafficking for sex reason. And all this, the reason is a human being did not ask to be used like that. There is a kind of, organization who can take care of this, but my question or, what I'm feeling like bad is the business between Kenyan government and these people from India is where we can situate our responsibility to involve all this government, all the two state or country inside of what is going on.
Wow. Yeah, I was not aware of, I kind of have a little idea that some government may have an affiliation with the criminals who are doing it, because it explains a lot why all of these women are being accepted to go to India, knowing that there's already a lot of trafficking there. So this is something you opened up to me as well. So, we hope that these girls get the message and that they can protect themselves.
Yes, today, if it's not the Temple Africa TV, I know people, maybe they cannot be aware of what's going on because, we respect a country, Kenya, this is a country, where there is a democracy. As, taking care of, some situation, I know even if the government is not aware of what is going on, this is the time now to take advantage of this situation. Because if it's going to be like that, and if we continue, we are going to do something. We cannot leave, the human to be trafficking for, the purpose, for no reason. Or to get the money,
Yeah, and it's mostly about the money. It's all about the money.
It's very dangerous.
And so with the second question about the Disney World, with children being used as sex or child pornography, So this has been a continuous thing that has been going on since 2006. And so far, the government have arrested 36 of these predators, and about 35 of them has also been prosecuted already with child pornography and sex stings and all that stuff. So, which is really good, but I feel like with such a large number of people who are doing these to these innocent children's, even just the tourism that are coming to see their favorite character, that these parents are not acknowledged of what is going on, you know? And so I wanted to give that awareness to the parents that the industry is not what it all looks like, you know? That there's a lot of predators, there's a lot of scam and con artists that are ready to take your child. So you have to be aware at all time. And you know, this has been a really frustrating situation. There has been a lot of reports on it as well here in the United States. And we're so glad that, you know, the government is finally doing something about it. But I know at the end of the day, these pedophiles are still going to continue to grow and do their things as well.
Yeah, this is, I understood about, the trafficking in a human being is a big problem, and sometimes people don't want to be involved inside.
Yeah.
Between 600,000 and 2 million people, are being trafficked yearly across the world. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, wow.
And this is a big story. You have, mentioned, you have, taking care of, an issue people, are not aware of it, or they are aware of it, but it's going to be what I call a business for them to make, them in a pause, getting money of them. Look at, if I take, people who are crossing, the ocean and going to Europe, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
They have to just, blow up, the boat, and they're going to take all these people, African people who are crossing, this ocean, and take them to traffic them and take care of the human, the bodies. Did you see?
Yes.
It's a kind of a business, and we have to be aware of it.
Yeah,
and,
even body parts are also used for business as well, and that's very common a lot in the Mexico border to the U.S., which has kind of went viral about 2 or 4 years ago. And yes, there is a lot of trafficking going on, but I also, for the ignorancy of, how the industry works and how it's run, is that these things are there, they exist, and they're always going to be there. Because a lot of the darkness side of human, of what they can do to another human, is always going to be there. But it's those that are willing to listen and willing to be aware and watch their surrounding at all time. We hope that they can go ahead and, create that awareness as well and protect their children as well. Especially, in this business, this deep, dark business of the industry as well. Because this industry, of course, it comes out of the fames and the money, which is a lot of, what happens in Hollywood, and creating all of these bad reputation by pretending to be somebody else that is already a big name, or even a big company like Walt Disney. So it really brings it down. Even though Walt Disney is gifted to create something so magical for the children's, it's still something that the government can be aware of as far as the people who are using that big name to police their wickedness. So,
wow.
yeah, and of course, I'm still going to continue to follow up with some of these posts and see what is happening and what is changing. But I know for sure that a lot of these parents may not have the guide step of who to talk to, because when you're first in the industry, usually it happens at the first trial. the first try of going into the industry. The first time your child get a casting call, the first time your child gets to do a runway show, the first time your child gets to do a movie. This is where a lot of them is about figuring it out, you know? And it's usually a chance of losing your child completely, or it's a chance of stepping back. So people don't know how to judge their feelings when it comes to these industry, because these con artists in the industry, they are intelligent at what they do. They are very good at what they do. They know every word to manipulate you. They know every word to convince you, to make you feel like everything is secure. But there's still some of those moments as a human being, and you just don't feel right about it. We want to give the parents the confidence to know that walk out, you know? It's not about the money, it's about your child's life. And of course, you're right, like you said earlier, some of these parents may be in the business themselves, like, for example, Surviving R. Kelly. Surviving R. Kelly, a lot of children were a sex slave to this man. And some of these parents, they were bribed with money to keep their mouths shut. Yeah. And it's more sad for the child and more devastating, because then they're being sold, even by their own parents. And so a lot of these, you know, of course, there is a big topic, it's a big situation, but I'm really hoping that those parents who want what's best for their children at least have that knowledge of how to separate themselves on how to protect their kids.
Thank you so much, Nema. And, you know, it's very nice to bring out this kind of issue.
Yeah.
And let's, you know, be aware. Let's talk about these two governments, and I mean, these two countries, you know, Kenya and also India, you know, to bring the attention. If they know what is going on, it means that UN men should be aware, because this is the people who can just, you know, go anywhere.
That's the crazy thing, because here in the diaspora,
Yeah.
we're kind of shocked with the news, because we're not really aware of what is going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, and if I get something, I will call back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So continuing on, thank you to one of our guest caller who has made his input. Yes, it is very true, especially for us here in the diaspora region. We don't ultimately know the whole entire business behind what is happening there in Africa. But as far as the knowledge that we have here as a diaspora, we want to share it with you guys over there in Africa, so you know how to protect yourself at all costs. And so going with the step, as I was saying earlier, if you get a contact by a company saying there's an opportunity for a modeling or a film or for a movie, those kind of tricks that is thrown in front of you, first do your research. Google it. Do everything you can to make sure this is a legit company. And once you have a result to that, set up a time to meet with them. When you go to your casting, have a parent with you, have a friend with you, have your husband with you, have your uncle, somebody with you that is strong enough to stand their ground and fight their battle with you, or at least tell you, you know what, I don't feel right about this, so let's leave it. Because a lot of these con artists, they come with tricks, and a lot of these tricks are very manipulating. So you have to differentiate those tricks and what is real as well. And then another thing is, of course, in situations like Africa, where the government might be involved in these kind of business, is even much trickier or much harder, because if you do a research on the company, or you know, try to find out they're legit and they come out legit, this is where a government has to be involved, where they made this look legit. Like this guy who is trafficking the women through WhatsApp in Kenya to India, he used a company to cover him. So, and the posters are everywhere, and you know, everybody knows this company, and it's a pretty legit company, and it seems like they're also supporting a cause as well. So if anything was happening through the company, nobody would know or be aware that there's a darkness going on behind it until the BBC African News had to go undercover to really find this guy, which he's a CEO from Nigeria, who is a very wealthy man and has his own company, and decide to use this very big, broad company name to cover himself. Now, that's a lot of tricks that I do see these wealthy men do in Africa as well. So be careful with those and watch out for those. Now, my advice for people in Africa, I would say, whenever you run into someone who wants to cast you for a movie or make you a big-time musician, ask yourself first, is it too good to be true? You know? And then to go further with that, contact someone that you can meet with. Make sure that you have, I mean, here in America, I would say, you know, we would need to look at their ID. We need to have their ID. If they can't prove, you know, their work ethic, then they need to have an ID, and you have to be able to get a hold of those, yeah, and keep them with you, because that's going to protect you as well, having those ID. Because then if anything happens or if you go missing, then you can send that ID to someone and they will be easily tracked. Because here, your ID is linked to everything. So, and of course, you know, there are fake IDs and all those kind of things as well that are made in the black market. So the industry just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So, and it's kind of hard to really tell if they are a legit company. So this is where, you know, you have to kind of go with your instinct as well. So that's my advice to that. And then going furthermore, so if you do get the cast and you do get the movie, and now you're probably in the middle of filming and you're probably in the middle of doing the catalog, you know, if something weird or awkward starts to happen behind there where it's like, oh, I did all of this for you, what are you going to do for me? That's your sign right there. That shows that that person is trying to take advantage of you. They feel like they have done so much and now they got to get something out of you. So some of these pedophiles will use those tricks. And also, another thing leading on as well, when you have when you have photo shoots, okay, this is very common with the fashion world. Okay, there's a lot of photographers out there that are not doing their purpose for others; they're doing it for themselves. Okay, a lot of these photographers who shoot porn, nude. There's a huge difference between porn and art. Okay, nude art is very different from pornography. Usually, a photographer will continue to have you do something you're not comfortable with, like let's say you're wearing a corset or something that has straps, or a really elegant dress that has finger straps. You know, as you continue to go on the shoot, maybe they'll say, "Oh, slip this off." And over here, you're still covered, you're still secure, but eventually you start losing and start revealing more until you find yourself with almost nothing. And some of these models that get so caught in that situation, then finally end up realizing like, wow, I'm pretty much naked, you know? And this is how the photographer trick you to slowly get into that nudity photography. But if you're not comfortable and you don't feel right about it, leave, walk away from that photographer. Because what will usually end up happening is the photographer is going to continue to push until they become aggressive. And they're going to say, no, this is the shoot. Let's do it. It's okay. You have nothing to be scared of. You have nothing to be afraid of, you know? This is just an innocent shoot. So, and some of these models are so new into this that they don't know how to react back, because then they're alone with the photographer. So they're starting to feel that fear where if I don't listen to him, he might do something to me. So do not get yourself in that situation. If that situation starts to happen, have a friend with you at all time. Have someone with you. So that's really the only tricky way you can get bypassed into this industry. I know there's a lot of wonderful people out there who are amazingly gifted, who are amazingly talented, and who have so much that want to contribute into the world and the society. Do not let your gift mislead you to the wrong people, okay? Because the wrong people are everywhere, and they will find you. So it's up to you to protect it. Protect that gift with all your might. Because once you find the right people and you run into the right people, you're gonna blossom, you're gonna grow, you're gonna follow your purpose, you're gonna thrive into the industry with your gift. Now, having a gift and having you is two separate things. The gift is like hanging on to you. So a gift is not exposed unless you do it. A gift is not, it doesn't come to life unless you do it. The gift itself has its own voice where it's telling you, I'm here, and, you know, I want to go do what I'm here for. So it's almost like a plan that is already set for you. And that's when you have that feeling like, I love what I do, because when you love what you do, you never get tired of it. You just continue on going and keep on doing it. And that is your gift there. You got to protect it with all your might. Now, you as a person, you are an individual separated from your gift as well. That's why you also have to protect your surrounding. You also have to protect yourself, making sure you don't run into these con artists and these scam artists as well, who may need your body for their own personal use, whether it's pornography, sex slave, or selling organs and things like that, because those are also very common in the industry. And, you know, of course, put God as the center of your journey in this industry, because without God, nothing is possible, you know? That's what he said. With all things, through me, all things are possible. So always make sure, you know, God is the center of you, of your life, of your gift, because the industry is so big enough. Anybody can get in, but not everyone can survive. Anyone can be a model, but not everyone is going to make it as a supermodel. And some of these people who even make it had to go through a lot of these struggles, and they ended up not surviving through it, and they die off, you know. Or they fall into a depression, or they fall into a coma. Now, those are like the final effects of the industry once you start messing with these con artists and these scammers as well. It's a mind game, it's a psychological game where you are mentally distracted in a way that can destroy you. Yeah. So you got to be careful for all those things, because there are, you know, those who are at that demonic spiritual level that will do everything they can to get whatever they want out of you and destroy your gift. A lot of gifts do get destroyed and they don't make it. Especially, you know, speaking of these innocent children, you know, children are very vulnerable. They're very new to this. They're very fresh in the industry. So there is a huge trafficking going on against children 18 and under. And these are the most vulnerable ones. So these predators and manipulators, they look for the weakest thing. They look for the vulnerable women. They look for those that are weak, that can't defend themselves. So you need to be strong and bold in what you do. You know, like that reality show Surviving R. Kelly is, it's about Me Too, and everybody is now finally speaking of everything that has happened to them in this industry. You know, with these children that has a potential to think that, oh, because they met an artist, I get to be a star, you know? No, it's too good to be true. So anything that you're good at, there's a timing for it. Wait for it. Be patient. Work on your plans on how you're going to do it, where you're going to start, and what kind of people you need in your life. Make a list. You want to be extremely successful in the industry, make a plan. You make a plan, you make a list of the things that you want to do and who you want to connect with, And those you want to put as a board member or creating a team, you interview them, and you'll know who's going to be supported and who's going to stand with you. Okay? Nobody else is going to make your dream. Yeah. You meet a rapper, and just because you saw that rapper, you're going to try to approach them and think that if this might be my opportunity to become big, you know? First, get to know who they are and what their intentions are. Are they out there using their gift or purpose for good things, or are they using it for their own self? Because there's a lot of selfish people here in the industry that uses their gifts and their purpose for their own pleasure needs. And those are the people you want to stay away from 100%. No matter how talented they are, they use somebody to get where they need to be. These are the kind of people that will crawl on top of other people and suck other people dry up until they get where they need to be. And then they don't care. But then people who are actually using their gift for others, because a gift is not for you, it's for the people. It's a gift for you to change a society. It's a gift for you to create an awareness. It's a gift for you to contribute. So somebody who understands and believes that my gift is a purpose for others, now that person is definitely the right person that can help you, that can help the next talent, or that can help get the next talent somewhere. In the industry, there's more higher percentage of selfish people. So be careful with those. And, you know, if they don't help you in your dream and they're very selfish, it's not the end of the world. Whatever God has planned for you, whatever gift he has give you, as long as you do your part and you do what you do, he will take you from there. He will help you. He will create the connections that you need. Just trust in him for it. And you're going to go far regardless of one way or another. If it is meant for you, you're going to go far. Consistency is everything. You just keep doing it. Even if you're doing it by yourself and no one is helping you, or even you come with an empty vessel and you have nothing to pay the other people, keep doing it. All right, we have another call, and we'll get right back to the topic.
Hey, Nemba, I'm back again.
Oh, hi.
Yes, I think Nemba, the governor of Kenya knows about the situation.
Oh, he does?
Because, when, I hear about something, I have to make some investigation. And it has been said that the government failed to punish acts of trafficking during the reporting period. But it demonstrates significantly increased law enforcement activity so the reporting period. They said Kenya does not prohibit all form of trafficking. You see, so what? It criminalizes the trafficking of children, adults for sexual exploitation. So it's a sexual offense. It means that long time ago, even in 2000.
Wait, what do you mean sexual offense?
It's what they said. Sexual exploitation. It said Kenya does not prohibit all form of trafficking. So it criminalizes the trafficking of children and adults for sexual exploitation. So it's a Sexual Offense Act enacted since June 2006. It means that it's a long time ago this has been, on trial. But the government is just increasing law, and they really don't do something to eradicate what's going on. I think when you are government and you have been elected as the president, if something is going on in your country, the first thing is go ahead and enforce or increase law enforcement to eradicate this kind of situation. Because it's a between, Kenya and other countries. It's not India. There's another country.
Oh, there's more.
Kenya and now India. It means that if they just, patrol some industry to just, hiding the business they are doing, I think it's nice to voice it out. And now, Temple Africa TV, try to brought out what was hidden. The Kenyan president need to act. They need
Okay,
to
so
act.
when you said earlier, a sex offense, now can you give me a little bit more detail on that? Is that something that the government is using to make him feel like he's protecting these women? Or he's saying that the criminals are using that to protect
I
themselves from
think
the government?
what I said, and I repeat again, they said the government, failed to punish act of trafficking during the reporting period. But they say they increase law enforcement, for the reporting period. And then later they talk about that Kenya does not prohibit all form of trafficking. See?
Wow.
They don't prohibit all form of trafficking. So it criminalizes the trafficking of children and adults for sexual exploitation through the through
Yep, 'cause they
a
cover all that.
sexual offense act of enact in July 2006. And I continue, which prescribe penalty that are sufficiently stringent and commensurate with the rate. However, the law is not yet widely used by a prosecutor. What does that mean? It means that this business has been going through a long time ago, but the governor of Kenya, they know about what's going on, but they're still looking the solution of, this kind of issue to see what they can do, because it's a big issue.
So do you think the number of these predators is growing?
Yes, it's growing. It's
Wow.
growing.
Okay.
And if you are president, what I said, maybe, because they say the national TV can talk about it,
Yes.
but they have been, taking some people or arresting the people, but it's still going. Because it's a big business, and, to just talking about, resolve the issue of what's going on, it's kind of, it's not easy, from my understanding. But they still going on to just make sure that they can get, the really issue. They can see which kind of solution they can brought out to eradicate this kind of business. For me, it is a business.
It is a business. It's 100%
It's a business.
business. There's no doubt about that. And if the government is getting anything out of it, of course, he's not going to do much. And
course.
that gives the predators the opportunity to grow, because now all of these other criminals, or even these innocent people that are brainwashed to become criminals as in their mind as well, start to join. And then these innocent women don't realize what they're going to go through until they get there.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
I think our biggest role here is, talking about this and creating as much media attention as possible, and creating awareness, because our country does not want to be put in shame. Yeah. But if they're not doing anything about it, and they're not going to speak up
they are
on
not
this
doing
case,
anything. They have been saying that, the Kenya government has been, improving, some protective service, but it's not going anywhere. And I would like to call upon, these two governments, Kenya and India, to make sure that it's a very criminal,
because India has to play their role too, yes.
Yeah,
To
they need
track
to
down
play-
these things, because it's happening in
they need to-
India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to play the role, because something going, in India is they are too much. I don't know what the Kenya government is doing.
But then the other
When we
hurtful
go-
thing that kind of throw me off is that, of course, it's probably happening to their own India people as well. It's
Yes,
like
it's not
you have a huge trafficking of African people that are being brought into your country as sex slaves, and this is happening in your country.
Of course, of
What
course.
country would allow that?
But it's a business. Even if the country does not allow it, if the government know about this business, what they're gonna do? They're gonna ask for money and just shut down, the mouth, because it's a business.
That
when we
explains a
talk about
lot.
the
Yeah,
business.
they really don't
Yeah.
care about these people, even
Yeah,
if they
they don't
die
care.
or anything happened to them, and if they don't make it
See?
back to their country, it's their loss.
There have been more investigation and more draft on this kind of issue, human trafficking in Kenya. There's people have been working on this, and it's not now. It has been a long time, but we just saw this and we brought it out. It's a good, but the question is, what are they doing? What these two government or country are doing?
Yeah.
It's a business. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, it's a very big than you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope that, a lot of these girls in Kenya will get the message on how to protect themselves.
The girl, you're talking when I give them a message. If you tell somebody that, I'm going to give this one, there's money inside, can you do this? They're going to do it because look at the life they are
that
living.
is true too. Yeah.
Look at the life they are living in this country. If it's in Africa, the way they are living, they have to sell them.
Wow. Are you there? All right. Well, our time is up. So we have hit our 1 hour time frame. So I'm just gonna create some closure here. This is a very big topic. It's bigger than myself. It's bigger than Tempo Africa TV. It's bigger than anyone out there. These are things that has been happening since centuries. So, but I also strongly do believe that talking about it and spreading out the awareness and, having more people speak together and stand together can also lead to a little change, at least. If we could see a little change where some of these girls are finally waking up and saying, you know what, there is a huge trafficking going on here. I need to be extra careful. Some of the tips that I explained to you throughout the show, use those tips because a lot of those is what's going to protect you, and it's about how to protect yourself. Because the industry is deeper than it is something you can dig and keep digging forever. So these pedophiles, these predators, these con artists, these scammers are there, and they will continue to be there. So the only way we can slow them down from growing, they're like a virus that is just affecting everybody. So the only way we can contain the virus and keep it down is for as many people as possible to share and talk about it, share this video. Maybe somebody want to hear some of those tips so they can learn from. These are the things we want to give out to you because most importantly, it's about how to protect yourself. And yes, the government has a huge role in allowing this to happen or protecting the citizens of their country. So that's all for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to continue to talk more about this topic if we get enough response and react from it as well. So we also want you to change what you know in your country, what is going on in your country. Like one of our callers just called today, giving in some of the things that I didn't know as far as like the government being involved. Things like this, we want to hear your voice, get your voice involved so that we can be able to have a larger, broad topic where people can, create an awareness, a bigger awareness. So again, thank you from Ellie and Aimal. It was a really pleasure sharing this topic with all of you. Protect your children, protect yourself, and protect your gift. Have fun in the industry, and have a good Sunday.
Hi, it's me again, Korma Agustakmeyer. I'm here today to tell you more about Tempo Africa and how you can contribute. As you know, Tempo Africa is a station that services people of African descent and people in America, people in Africa. It's all over the globe. And for us to do that, we are always accepting donations. To donate, you can go to the website at tempoafrictv.com, and then you click on the home page and then click on PayPal donation, and you can make your donation there. You could also call in and make a donation. The number is 612-804-0295. I cannot tell you how grateful we are for your donation. Please take the time and check out the website and feel free to donate to this wonderful service that Tempo Afrique continues to offer us abroad and at home. All this information is on the website. Just go to tempoafrictv.com and you will get more information. Thank you very much.